I was born in 1967. Gasp from the crowd. Some of you are thinking, wow, he's really old. Some of you are thinking, wow, he's really young. It means that I have actually been alive during the terms of 9 US presidents. I have witnessed 15 inaugurations. During my lifetime, I have lived through 30 Congresses, and I've been impacted by the implications of an estimated 20,000 bills that were passed and signed into law. I don't remember very many of them. And through all of those transitions, through all of those changes that I personally have experienced, one lesson has remained constant: change. And it's a lesson that is woven into the fabric of all of our lives. It teaches us to adapt, to respond, somehow, we pray, in meaningful ways to every new experience. It has been said, as you know, that change is inevitable. Now, the origin of that phrase is actually unknown, but there is one particular ancient Greek philosopher by the name Heraclitus, who famously teaches in his philosophy of flux that everything is in flux, that the only constant in life is change. Indeed, our lives, everything about our environment, is always evolving, and we are left to respond to each one of those moments. And yet, while change is inevitable, it is difficult. It is hard for us to find hope in the face of some moments of transformation. Now, like always, January is a transitional time. And I, this particular January, am filled with hope. You see, so much is happening around us in our natural world, in politics, for our people in Israel. And while the individual reactions to those shifts may be different for each one of us because of the way we experience our lives, when viewed holistically, all at once, I'm really optimistic about the future. Now, Jewishly, we are given an easy place to accept this hopeful attitude. We all can feel that sense of tikvah, or hope, in the natural world. The snow and cold this week kept many of us inside, but it is a reminder that we are all part of an incredible, organic system that restores us year after year. And soon, in a few weeks, we'll be able to celebrate a Jewish ritual that marks that process in the celebration of Tu B'Shvat, the new year for the trees. That holiday will teach us that even in the depth of winter, life is stirring underneath the surface, preparing for a renewal. Just this morning, I was given the opportunity to take a Shabbat walk at Dodge Park in Waterford with an organization called Adamah, a Jewish environmental agency here in town. During the teaching that I shared with them, I reflected on the quiet resilience of nature. We prepared to walk through the snow quietly, and I shared with the group this poem called January by Naomi Nye. Only a few branches in the cold wind. You could think nothing is happening. The trees look bare, the grass worn down to the root. But below, the earth is dreaming. Seeds press into the soil, a quiet whisper of beginning. Roots stretch and wait, their patience immeasurable. Winter says, rest. Winter says, believe. Everything is still but alive. This is the work we cannot see. Snow is not death, it is a quilt. Silence is not emptiness, it is the breath before song. I think that poem captures the essence of the moment I'm feeling. It teaches me to trust the unseen work of renewal and to believe that there are quiet miracles of growth happening beneath the surface, even in the most barren seasons. Just as the seasons turn and life beneath the snow quietly persists, so too does my hope, renewed every year in the cycle of our lives. Nature's rhythms remind me that even if it's imperceptible, that change is happening. It's underway. And with it comes a promise of something new. I have tikvah. I am hopeful. Now, I recognize that it may actually be more difficult to see this in the more mundane world of politics. I also recognize that in a divided political climate, it can be difficult to feel hopeful about any new leadership. But I believe it is important to find that same sense of hope in the inauguration of a new president. Regardless of where you may stand politically, an inauguration itself symbolizes potential for renewal and positive change. It serves as a reminder that leadership changes all of the time, that democracy endures, and that we as a collective have the power to shape our future. Just as the earth beneath the snow is quietly preparing for spring, these new beginnings in leadership invite us to dream and to act with hope that could be in the future. That's the essence of this word tikvah, to dream and act with hope for what could be. And I have tikvah. I have hope. Even more personally, though, for our Jewish community is our connection to Israel. I feel hope in its most authentic form in the ongoing releases of hostages from Gaza. Last Shabbat, we welcomed Romy, Doron, and Emily back to their families. We've taken their images off of those reserved chairs in the sanctuary that have been waiting for their return for more than a year. And now we have news that tomorrow more than four more hostages are scheduled to be released. And when we celebrate those returns, we hold in our hearts those still waiting for their loved ones, praying for their safe release. These moments offer a glimmer of hope in a profoundly challenging situation. They remind us to pray with the fullness of our hearts for the peaceful resolution of that war and the hostage crisis. And while the progress may feel slow, just like the snow that is not ready to melt, efforts towards peace, I pray, are being nurtured, even when they are difficult to see. I have tikvah. I am hopeful. Now, in just a moment, our Teen Tefillah team that has been so incredibly spiritual tonight will sing a song that some suggest was written by Harry Belafonte, Turn the World Around. But it was reimagined by my friend Dan Nichols. And the song reminds us that we are all interconnected. Together, we have the power to create meaningful change in this world. This January, it is my prayer that we may embrace that inevitability of change with optimism. May we all find inspiration in this quiet growth of winter, the promise of new leadership, and the flickering hope for peace. Like the earth beneath the snow, we must be dreamers. We must prepare, believing in brighter days to come. May we not only dream of those days, but actively work toward them with hope in our hearts and tikvah guiding our steps. May we together turn the world around. Shabbat Shalom.